Canada continues to have a problem with far-right groups, particularly militias that are forming inside of the country, which are going completely unnoticed by the mainstream media. Now, the Canada Anti-Hate Network has carried out an investigation on one of those groups, and it turns out that they have been building, supplying, and getting ready to carry out attacks against immigrants and leftists across the country wherever they see it possible to carry these actions out. The investigation by the Canadian Anti-Hate Network shows that the failed past attempts to build an Atomwaffen division group inside of Canada managed to produce another group called the Nightfall group. The self-described ultra-nationalist far-right anti-communist network is building up its arsenal and membership to expel immigrants. Shown here is a picture posted by 19-year-old Jacob Engel dressed in camouflage next to some graffiti which reads Nightfall Group. The poorly made logo was painted on the corrugated metal walls of a Regina skate park. The logo depicts a shield shape with a downward pointing arrow and flanked by the barely legible words Nightfall Group. The image was taken from a now defunct Telegram group. Now, Jacob Engels did start out as a part of another group called Kernatium, which was a neo-Nazi militant group aimed at seeking to carry out attacks against immigrants. There, he posted images of himself cruising around a Canadian Armed Forces armory doing what he called reconnaissance. In it, he took photos of the outside of a building, noting where the entrance and exits were. In total, 76 pictures were taken in what he called surveillance for future purposes and intelligence gathering. He noted the structure's entry points in his message to the group. The Canadian Anti-Hate Group noted that the armory is in Regina, which is also a historic landmark military drill hall and storage facility, is located within Saskatchewan's capital city. Now, despite the group being fairly small, they still have managed to gain some members, including one member of the Canadian Armed Forces and two underage teenage boys, one of them actually being children. Now, a past investigation did reveal that Kernatium's purpose was to kill Jews and immigrants inside the country, and had specifically focused on efforts of gathering supplies, weapons, and training, and also to raise funds for the group to carry out these attacks. According to chat logs, this message is for every member to try to recruit as much people by August. We are planning on a fundraising operation for this group and have figured it out now, which will bring in roughly $6,000 to $10,000 a month, and will be put to getting people gear, equipment, and even later on, if everything goes fine, vehicles. An investigation into Engels' social media has revealed accounts with similar neo-Nazi language that includes a Facebook page with phrases like TND, short for Total N-Word Death, a common expression and threat used by far-right individuals. Now, Engels himself is not of the pure Aryan blood, despite saying things like this. Engel is half First Nations on his mother's side. In an acknowledgement of this, he says, "My dad is full German, which is why I have a German last name. But he decided to go and fuck that up, our gene line, and fucked a native. Hear me out, guys. I am already breeding it out of me." He then claimed that he had 2 children by a German woman and would forbid them from dating anyone who wasn't white. Now, the Canadian Armed Forces personnel who joined the Nightfall group has also proven to be a very interesting individual. He's been revealed as Maddox Norikota, who went by the name Maple Boogaloo on TikTok. There, he had videos showing him in training with other members of the CAF. In the Telegram group, he claimed to be a part of the 12th Regiment Armored Division and living in Quebec. He was identified by his name tag, which is partially visible in the picture he himself posted. Now, according to the investigation carried out by the Canada Anti-Hate Network, it turns out that this member has given advice to the Nightfall group, including saying that he was well beyond basic training, that he was a tanker and fully qualified in order to do that. The group has managed to come to some recruiting, particularly among young men and youths. The investigation has uncovered 2 members who have either self-identified or been confirmed to be 13 and 15 years old, respectively. Kyle originally identified himself as 15, but in fact turned out to be a 13-year-old boy living in Alberta. Another member of Nightfall Guard, 19-year-old Jericho Jerry Hayden Hawk, claims to be an oilfield worker in Alberta and uses a variation of his real name on Telegram. On Telegram, Kyle, the 13-year-old, said that he and Hawk were best buddies, to which Hawk replied, "Oh yes, sir," a claim which he has now denied. Hawk openly admits to being a National Socialist, but denies being a neo-Nazi. He claims once people were told what a National Socialist is, they would be more willing to consider one. He denied much of the anti-Semitism inherent in the movement and claimed that National Socialists advocate for freedom of speech and freedom of the people from tyranny. This kind of investigation into neo-Nazi groups is being carried out by the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, shows much of the growing far right inside of Canada that the mainstream media seems to be just ignoring. And also conspicuously quiet is the RCMP, the Canadian Federal Police, who seem to be spending more of their time investigating and targeting groups that are trying to stop the genocide going on inside of Palestine. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.